ways. And
yeah, I personally, I've done it, I'll admit it, but I think it's a good idea and an extremely wise idea not to, excuse me, I'm gonna sneeze again, not to take those pictures and distribute them to somebody else, whether it's your boyfriend, you love him, you trust him, blah blah blah. You don't know what's gonna happen a couple months or a couple years or whatever down the line, because I've seen some screwed up stuff on television. Anyways, so what I would recommend, don't take nudie pictures of yourself and post them online, or give them out to anybody, period. And I don't care if you're fucking married, pardon my French, but you know, you never know with people.
Because a bad relationship or a bad ending to a relationship, anybody could get mad and be like, well.
Yeah, and try to destroy your reputation in that manner, and a lot of people do that stuff, you know. So if that is, as far as kids, don't do it. If you want to, when you get older and you think that, you know, you can handle the aftermath as far as like someone trying to damage your reputation, then feel free. But as a minor child, don't do it.
Yeah, it also brings unwanted attention, especially if you have it on your profile, which a lot of people on my yearbook has. I mean, they have girls, you know, and it's just showing every bit of cleavage and a bra top, or whether it's stylish or whether it's a bikini top or whether it's really your bra, and you know, and it gets guys in there, and I've seen a lot. And I go into the place where it says My Mag, and you got sex topics in there, and then you got girls typing some of these questions on there, which is usually common sense to me and you, but to them maybe they really don't know.
Yeah.
And then you see these older men in there, and they type in there, well, if I was there, I would do this to you. I would treat you this way, and yada yada yada. And it's like, dude, really?
I know another thing that we were wanting to talk about was just kind of like common sense in regards to like how not to be a victim. There's some things that are, sorry about this, I gotta shut this off. There are certain common sense things that an individual can do, especially if you're a young person going out and drinking, you know, because there are cases where someone's, you know, screamed rape, but there are some things that they could do to prevent that. And the reality of it is that there's always going to be sexual predators. But there are things that we can do to protect ourselves. If you're a single woman, I don't know too many men getting raped, so I'm not trying to discriminate. But, you know, if you're going to go out with your friends, you know, one, stay with your friends in a group. And if they're being stupid, take a cab home. Don't drink too much when you're out by yourself, or when you're out, period, to the point where you don't remember anything. The third thing is always take your drink with you.
You don't want none of that date rape drug or
anything else that they could slip into it. Do you have anything else to add to that?
Let's see. Yeah, actually, just, you know, basically it's just best to just stay. Well, have fun, but stay as, you know, as self-conscious as best you can. Well, not self-conscious, but self-aware as best as you can. Because, you know, nowadays you can't trust anybody. I mean, I don't remember hearing back in the 80s that there were being date rape drugs outside of, you know, they just throw some LSD in there and then you're good to go. But, you know, nowadays they got ecstasy, which is, I know a lot of people get really aroused that way, lose their inhibitions. I'm not really sure too much about what the date rape thing does outside of really
I just noticed that
knocking them out.
Yeah, that's all I've heard. I've been fortunate enough not to experience that. I kind of want it all. So do we have time to go into kind of the social responsibility of police officers and also society as a whole when there's suspicious activity, is to check it out. You were talking, and I'm not very familiar with the JC case, because I don't have television. I'm too cheap to buy one, but anyways, you were you kind of like...
see, actually, I forgot Garrido. I think his name's Paul Garrido, or whatever. Garrido is his last name. It just popped in my head. Basically, he's a sex offender. He registered, had a parole officer come by his house and everything, check everything out, but you know, the neighbors knew that there was something weird going on. A lot of people knew, and there was this one cop that came there for some reason just to check things out. And from what they were talking about, and I guess this guy got in trouble too, even though it was years ago, he still got in trouble for it. Even though you're called out, you're supposed to just take a brief look around, make sure everything's really okay. Flashlight, peek in the window, look in the backyard, look in the car as you're leaving. And the guy didn't do that. He walked up to the door, Paul, or whatever his name was, Garrido, told him whatever, and then he just left. Instead of looking in the backyard where somebody else from years on ahead, you know, they get nosy and they look in the backyard and see 3 people scattering, you know, and living in filth, and then police are finally called, they go back there and they see, you know, just heaps of, you know, women stuff, you know, and it's just, you know, it's just really stupid, and the police really need to start getting on the ball. I mean, they want to, some are now just getting lazy, I feel, because they have this power of,
well, I think it goes even more into, further into it. The girl in Stella last year that got murdered, there was so many people that called and hotlined, but nobody took action. And that's where I think law enforcement needs to really play an active role, but also at some level there was, if you see something odd going on, call somebody and be like, hey, you know, and push to really for community awareness, so that way something will get done, because if enough people say something and do something about an issue, we'll get more action and more results from that. So I think that's really important as well. I think that the government services such as child services and welfare and the like really need to start investigating more and putting these people away that are doing these things.
One big reason why I hate DFS or our children's services as a whole is because, you know, they go after, you know, one person gets mad at somebody, they call, somebody gets hotline, and then they're there immediately, look at whatever. Kids are gone. God knows
but
what
when
happened.
there's something serious going on, it seems like no action is taken, which is sad.
So we need to kind of get on the ball with that. If one guy in the neighborhood sees another guy acting a little weird, doesn't hurt to kind of tell the neighbors, hey, you might want to watch it.
Yeah, and that's why nosy neighbors are good. And I feel comfortable whenever I do have a nosy neighbor.
Yeah, and that at the same time, if you don't have an internet but somebody else does it, you know, hey, I want to check, you know, this house, see if there's something hotline on it. You know, you can do that, or even go up to the sheriff's office.
Or even to your local library too.
Yeah, it's free to look at the list. It gives out the names, what crime it was, and their address. And if it's near you, you at least know to either stay away or, you know,
avoid that area, or avoid that person, you know, and keep an eye on your children.
Yeah, make sure the kids stay away, make sure they know who that person, he or she is, so that way, if they see him come up, they know to run into the house,
Mm-hmm.
even if he's coming over just for some sugar or something. And
Yeah.
you don't want to give him the wrong sugar. And
Yeah. 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 Those are some things that you can do to check, to protect yourself, and also to help protect society as a whole, your children and the neighborhood kids.
guys lay off the really, really drunk girls, even though they show you a boob. It doesn't mean that, they're in their right head, and you never know what can happen to you later on.
Yeah, and chicks, don't be showing off boobs, I mean,